Commander Lisa Hayes stood on the bridge of her merchant ship watching the stars move past in the darkness. Her ship carried grain to the outer colonies like it had done for the past 5 years. The alien traders she met at the stations always smiled and spoke kindly about human work. They paid fair prices for human goods and always seemed pleased with the quality. What they did not know was that Lisa had spent 15 years as a soldier before becoming a merchant captain. The galaxy saw humans as useful but weak. The Draconi Empire controlled most of the military operations in this sector. The Ethereal Collective handled the advanced technology trades. The Vorthan Confederacy managed the mining rights on the resource worlds. Humans grew food and made basic tools. Everyone was happy with this arrangement. On the industrial world of New Terra, Foreman Marcus Thompson watched his workers build what looked like mining equipment. The alien supervisors from the hegemony checked their work once a week. They always approved the human craftsmanship. The machines were well made and worked perfectly. The supervisors never asked why the mining lasers had such high power outputs, or why the civilian factories had such thick walls. Marcus had been building these special machines for 3 years now. The official records showed them as standard mining equipment. The real specifications were quite different. Each laser could cut through a battleship hull in seconds. Each factory could switch to military production in less than an hour. The hegemony supervisors never looked that closely at human technical documents. Back on Earth, Dr. Amanda Cross reviewed the quarterly reports from human colonies. 47 star systems now had human settlements. The population numbers showed steady growth. The industrial output increased every year. The alien governments received copies of all these reports. They showed humans as hardworking and peaceful. The reports did not mention the hidden military training facilities on each world. They did not describe the weapon stockpiles buried under civilian buildings. They did not explain why human birth rates had been carefully managed to produce exactly the right number of potential soldiers. The galaxy thought humans were just good at farming and manufacturing. Captain Roy Ward supervised the construction of what appeared to be a large merchant vessel in the shipyards above Earth. The alien inspectors who visited twice a year saw a cargo ship designed to carry grain between systems. The official blueprints showed standard merchant vessel specifications. The real ship was something entirely different. The hull was built with military-grade armor disguised as cargo containers. The engines were 3 times more powerful than needed for merchant work. The weapon systems were hidden behind panels that looked like communication arrays. The ship could transform from a merchant vessel to a warship in less than 10 minutes. Roy had been working on this project for 7 years. The ship was called the Determination in the official records. The aliens saw it as another example of human industrial capability. They did not realize they were looking at the most advanced warship ever built by human hands. On the colony world of Harvest Moon, farming administrator Paul Grant supervised the planting of the annual crops. The alien food inspectors praised the human agricultural techniques. The farms produced excellent yields every year. The storage silos held enough grain to feed the colony and still have surplus for export. The inspectors never noticed that the storage silos were built with titanium walls instead of standard materials. They never asked why the farming equipment included such sophisticated sensor arrays. They never questioned why the irrigation systems had such high-capacity power conduits. The silos could become defensive turrets. The farming equipment could become mobile command posts. The irrigation systems could power a planetary defense grid. Paul had been preparing for this day since the colony was founded 12 years ago. Every human settlement had been built with hidden military purposes. The aliens saw productive colonies. Humans saw forward military bases. Dr. Sarah Mitchell ran the Human Science Directorate from her office in Geneva. The alien research partners always complimented human scientific dedication. Humans were excellent at following research protocols and producing reliable data. The joint research projects progressed smoothly. Everyone benefited from the shared knowledge. The alien scientists never realized that humans had been secretly developing their own advanced technologies. Every joint project taught humans something new about alien capabilities. Every shared research facility included human equipment that did more than its official purpose. Every scientific exchange gave humans deeper understanding of potential. Enemies. Sarah had been coordinating this massive intelligence operation for over a decade. The aliens thought they were mentoring a younger species. They were actually teaching humans how to defeat them. Ambassador David Turner represented humanity at the Galactic Council meetings. The alien representatives respected his diplomatic skills. He always found reasonable solutions to trade disputes. He never demanded special treatment for human interests. He seemed content with humanity's minor role in galactic affairs. Turner had been carefully building this image of human weakness for 20 years. Every diplomatic interaction was designed to make aliens underestimate human capabilities. Every trade agreement included clauses that helped human military preparations. Every council meeting gave humans more information about alien military strengths and weaknesses. The galaxy had grown comfortable with human limitations. Humans were the quiet species who worked hard and caused no trouble. They were useful allies but not dangerous enemies. They were content with their small place in the galactic community. This perception was about to change forever on research stations throughout human space. Scientists received encoded messages from Dr. Mitchell. The messages contained a single word that had been planned for decades. The word was simple, but its meaning was enormous. The word was soon. In shipyards across human territory, workers began activating hidden systems in supposedly civilian vessels. Merchant ships revealed military-grade weapons. Transport craft showed their true nature as troop carriers. Mining ships displayed their real purpose as patrol vessels. On colony worlds, farmers and miners began preparing for their real jobs as soldiers. The hidden training they had received over the years was about to be tested. The weapons they had secretly practiced with were about to be used. The military exercises they had disguised as civilian drills were about to save their lives. The galaxy did not know that humanity had been preparing for war for 3 centuries. The quiet growth had been planned. The peaceful expansion had been strategic. The humble diplomacy had been deception. Humanity had grown quietly in the shadows of greater powers. They had learned from every interaction. They had prepared for every possibility. They had built their strength while appearing weak. Now they were ready to show the galaxy what they had become. The attack on New Geneva came without warning. The Vorthan Confederacy had been raiding smaller colonies for months, but they had never touched human territory before. Admiral Rickstone was reviewing routine fleet exercises when the emergency transmission reached Earth. The message was brief and terrible. 17,000 human civilians were dead. The colony infrastructure lay in ruins. The Vorthan fleet was moving toward their next target. Stone had been waiting for this moment his entire career. The Vorthan attack had given humanity the excuse they needed to reveal their true capabilities. He activated protocols that had been prepared for decades. Within minutes, every human military facility in the galaxy received the same coded message. The message contained 2 words that would change everything. Those words were Alpha Protocol. The Determination dropped out of hyperspace at New Geneva 18 hours after the attack. The Vorthan occupation force expected to face a small patrol ship or perhaps a light cruiser. Human military strength was supposedly limited to a few outdated vessels. Instead, they found themselves staring at a ship that should not have existed. According to their intelligence reports, the Determination was enormous. Its hull was angular and predatory. Weapon ports covered its surface like the scales of some massive metal beast. The ship's design was unlike anything in galactic databases. Its power signature registered as unknown technology. Its size classification exceeded anything humans were supposed to possess. Captain Roy Ward opened communications with the Vorthan fleet. His voice was calm and professional. "This is the Human Defense Corps' vessel Determination. You have 60 seconds to withdraw from human territory or face immediate destruction." The Vorthan commander, General Thane, laughed at the transmission. Humans making threats? Your species has never won a single military engagement. You are outnumbered 4-1. Surrender now, and we might let some of you live? 55 seconds. Ward replied without emotion. The Vorthan fleet consisted of 12 heavy cruisers and 36 escort vessels. Their combined firepower could level a planet. They had defeated much larger forces than a single human ship. Thane ordered his fleet to attack formation. The humans were about to learn why the Vorthan Confederacy was feared throughout the galaxy. The Vorthan ships opened fire with everything they had. Plasma cannons and particle beams struck the Determination with enough force to vaporize most known warships. The energy discharge lit up the entire system. Sensors throughout the area registered the massive explosion. When the light faded, the Determination was still there. Its shields had absorbed the entire attack without failing. The human ship appeared completely undamaged. The Vorthan fleet stared in shock at something that should have been impossible. Ward's voice came through the communication channels again. Time is up. The Determination's return fire was precise and devastating. 6 weapon systems that had been hidden throughout the ship's hull opened simultaneously. The energy beams that emerged were unlike anything the Vorthans had ever seen. They cut through heavy armor like paper. They ignored defensive shields completely. They struck with surgical precision. 2 Vorthan heavy cruisers simply vanished in the first salvo. The other ships scattered in panic, but there was nowhere to run. The Determination moved with speed that defied its enormous size. Its weapons tracked multiple targets simultaneously. Each shot found its mark with perfect accuracy. The battle lasted exactly 30 minutes. When it ended, the Vorthan fleet had been completely destroyed except for 3 ships that Ward had deliberately allowed to escape. Those survivors would carry the news of human military capability back to their homeworld. The galaxy needed to understand what had just happened. Admiral Stone arrived at New Geneva 6 hours later with a full human battle fleet. The alien governments monitoring the situation were shocked to discover that humans possessed dozens of advanced warships. The vessels that emerged from hyperspace were all as impressive as the Determination. Some were even larger. Stone surveyed the ruins of the human colony with cold anger. The Vorthan attack had been brutal and unnecessary. 17,000 civilians had died for no reason except Vorthan greed. The time for hiding human strength was over. All stations, this is Fleet Command. Stone transmitted to every human facility in the galaxy. Protocol 7 is now active. All assets are authorized for military operations. The galaxy will learn what happens when you attack human civilians. On colony worlds throughout human space, the transformation began immediately. Mining equipment revealed its true nature as military hardware. Farming installations became fortress compounds. Merchant vessels showed their hidden weapon systems. The quiet human presence in the galaxy suddenly became a military force that no one had expected. The ethereal collective's monitoring stations detected the change within hours. Their sensors showed massive energy signatures appearing throughout human territory. Ships that had been classified as civilian transports were now registering as military vessels. Colonies that had seemed defenseless were now showing planetary defense grids. The Draconi Empire's intelligence services went into emergency session. Their files on human military capability were completely wrong. The species they had dismissed as weak farmers and miners had just demonstrated technology that exceeded anything in their own fleets. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted overnight. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Representatives from every major power demanded explanations. Ambassador Turner sat quietly as alien voices filled the chamber with angry questions. How had humans hidden such advanced technology? Where had they obtained such powerful weapons? What other secrets were they keeping? Turner waited for the noise to die down before speaking. The Human Defense Corps has always been transparent about our capabilities. We have submitted all required documentation to the Council. Every vessel registration and colony report has been filed properly. Your documentation listed 12 frigates and 3 destroyers as humanity's entire military fleet. the Draconi War Marshal protested. What we saw at New Geneva was a ship that could destroy our finest dreadnoughts. The Determination is classified as a patrol vessel in our documentation, Turner replied calmly. We have never claimed it was anything else. The council chamber erupted in furious voices. Turner sat back and smiled slightly. The galaxy had made the mistake of not asking the right questions. They had assumed that humans were weak because humans had acted weak. They had believed that human technology was primitive. Because humans had shown them primitive technology. The truth was much more complex. Humans had spent 3 centuries learning everything they could about alien capabilities. They had built their military strength in secret while maintaining the appearance of peaceful weakness. They had prepared for this moment with careful planning and infinite patience. The attack on New Geneva had given them the perfect opportunity to reveal their true nature. The galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. The Galactic Council emergency session lasted for 3 days. Representatives from every major power demanded answers that Ambassador Turner was happy to provide. The problem was that the answers made the situation worse instead of better. Every explanation revealed another layer of human deception that had been maintained for centuries. The human military vessel displayed technology ratings that exceed our previous assessments by several orders of magnitude, stated the Luminous One, speaking for the Ethereal Collective. We demand complete disclosure of all human military capabilities. Turner opened a datapad and began reading from official documents. The Human Defense Corps currently operates 47 patrol vessels, 18 escort cruisers, and 12 heavy combat units. All of these vessels have been properly registered with the Council according to established protocols. That registration data lists your largest vessels as having a maximum length of 300 meters. The Draconi War Marshal interrupted. The ship at New Geneva was clearly over 2 kilometers long. The determination measures 2,100 meters. From bow to stern, Turner agreed. It is classified as a patrol vessel because it conducts patrol operations. The Council regulations do not specify size limitations for patrol classification. The alien representative stared at him in disbelief. Turner continued reading from his datapad with professional calm. All human military vessels are equipped with standard defensive systems and appropriate offensive capabilities for their assigned missions. The Determination's weapon systems are rated as standard plasma projection technology. Standard plasma projection technology does not vaporize heavy cruisers in a single shot, the hegemony speaker declared. The Determination's weapon systems generate plasma at temperatures exceeding 50 million degrees, Turner explained. This falls within the technical definition of plasma projection technology as established by Council scientific standards. The implications were staggering. Humans had been following the letter of galactic law while completely ignoring its spirit. They had registered their weapons as standard technology while developing capabilities that exceeded anything known to galactic science. They had classified their most powerful warships as patrol vessels while building fleets that could challenge entire star empires. Meanwhile, the transformation of human space was accelerating. On the colony world of Titan's Rest, mining administrator Paul Grant activated the hidden systems that had been built into the colony infrastructure over the past decade. The change was remarkable and terrifying. Storage silos opened to reveal automated defense turrets. Mining equipment unfolded into mobile weapons platforms. The irrigation systems that had powered the farms now energized a planetary shield grid. The peaceful agricultural colony had become a military fortress in less than 6 hours. Similar transformations occurred on 37 human worlds simultaneously. The quiet farmers of Harvest Moon unveiled particle beam cannons that had been disguised as grain elevators. The research stations in the outer spiral revealed themselves as military command centers with sensor arrays that could track enemy fleets across entire sectors. Dr. Sarah Mitchell coordinated the revelations from her office in Geneva. The scientific Exchange programs that had seemed so beneficial to alien partners were actually massive intelligence operations. Every joint research project had given humans detailed information about alien technology and military capabilities. All human facilities are now authorized for full military operations. She transmitted to research stations throughout the galaxy. Begin Phase 2 of the Revelation Protocol. The alien scientists working at joint research facilities were shocked to discover that their human colleagues had been secretly developing technologies far beyond what they had been sharing. The laboratories they thought they knew were actually advanced military research centers. The equipment they had helped design was being used for weapons development. On the industrial world of New Terra, the factories that had been producing mining equipment for decades suddenly switched to military production. The alien supervisors who had been overseeing human work were amazed to see tanks rolling off assembly lines that had been making tractors the day before. Marcus Thompson supervised the transformation with quiet satisfaction. The hidden production capabilities that humans had been building for generations were finally being revealed. The galaxy was about to learn that human industrial capacity was far greater than anyone had imagined. The Vorthan Confederacy was the first to test the new reality. Their remaining fleets launched attacks on 3 human colonies simultaneously. They expected to face the same weak defenses that had made their previous raids so successful. Instead, they encountered military resistance that exceeded their worst nightmares. The human colonies had been transformed into fortress worlds. Automated defense systems engaged the Vorthan fleets before they could even reach planetary orbit. The weapons that emerged from hidden installations were more advanced than anything in Vorthan arsenals. The colonial defense forces fought with equipment and training that rivaled the best military units in the galaxy. Fleet Admiral Ann Roberts commanded the human response from her flagship, the Indomitable. The ship had been disguised as a heavy transport for the past 15 years. Its true nature as a command dreadnought was now revealed to the galaxy. The vessel's size and firepower exceeded the specifications of any known warship. All human forces, this is Fleet Command, Roberts transmitted. Execute Defense Pattern Alpha. Show them what happens when they attack human civilians. The Vorthan fleets found themselves facing coordinated resistance from multiple directions. Human ships appeared from hyperspace routes that were not supposed to exist. Colonial defense forces fought with weapons that had never been reported to galactic authorities. The attacks that should have been easy victories became disasters for the Vorthan military. The ethereal collective attempted to intervene diplomatically. Their representatives contacted human authorities to negotiate a ceasefire. They offered to mediate between humans and Vorthans. They suggested that the conflict could be resolved through peaceful means. The time for negotiation has passed, Admiral Stone informed the ethereal delegation. The Vorthan Confederacy made a choice when they attacked human civilians. They will face the consequences of that choice. The alien powers began to realize that they were dealing with something they had never encountered before. Humans had not just hidden their military strength. They had built an entire civilization around the concept of hidden warfare. Every colony was a potential fortress. Every merchant ship was a potential warship. Every human civilian was a potential soldier. The galaxy's intelligence services went into emergency mode. They began reviewing decades of data about human activities. What they found was terrifying. Humans had been systematically gathering information about every alien species. While revealing almost nothing about themselves, the quiet species that had seemed so peaceful and cooperative had been preparing for galactic war for 3 centuries. They had learned the weaknesses of every potential enemy. They had built weapons designed to exploit those weaknesses. They had positioned themselves to strike from locations that their enemies had never suspected. The Galactic Council realized that the balance of power had shifted completely. The species they had dismissed as minor players were now the dominant military force in known space. The humans they had thought of as useful allies were now potential conquerors. Ambassador Turner addressed the emergency session with calm professionalism. Humanity has no desire to dominate other species. We simply want to ensure that no species dominates others through unprovoked aggression. The age of casual warfare is ending. The alien representatives listened with growing fear. The humans were not just revealing hidden weapons. They were announcing a new order for the galaxy. The quiet species had grown in the shadows, and now they owned the battlefield. The Draconi Empire made the fatal mistake of believing that the New Geneva incident was just human luck. Their military leadership convinced themselves that humans had built one impressive warship, but could not possibly have an entire fleet of such vessels. The Draconi had ruled through military might for over 1,000 years, and they were not about to be intimidated by a species of farmers and miners. Emperor Draxus ordered a full military response to human aggression. 3. Battle. Fleets were assembled with orders to destroy human colonies and bring the upstart species back under proper control. The Draconi military was confident that overwhelming force would solve the human problem quickly and permanently. The first target was the Meridian system, where humans had established a mining colony 15 years earlier. The Draconi fleet consisted of 60 heavy warships and 200 support vessels. Their combined firepower could sterilize entire planets. The human colony had no chance of survival against such overwhelming force. Fleet Admiral and Roberts commanded the defense of Meridian from her flagship, the Indomitable. The ship had been stationed in the system for the past 6 months, officially conducting routine patrol operations. The Draconi intelligence reports described it as a converted merchant vessel with minimal combat capabilities. Those reports were catastrophically wrong. The Indomitable was a command dreadnought that had been designed specifically to counter Draconi military tactics. Its weapon systems had been tested against captured Draconi technology for decades. Its defensive systems had been built to withstand the heaviest bombardment that Draconi fleets could deliver. When the Draconi fleet arrived at Meridian, they found a single human ship waiting for them. Admiral Corvin, commanding the Draconi force, was amused by human foolishness. One ship against an entire battle fleet was not courage but suicide. "Human vessel, you are ordered to surrender immediately," Corvin transmitted. "Your species has caused enough trouble. Submit to Draconi authority and your death will be quick." Roberts responded with calm professionalism. "This is Fleet Admiral Ann Roberts of the Human Defense Corps. You have entered human territory without authorization. You have 30 seconds to withdraw or face immediate destruction." Corvin laughed at the transmission. "Humans threatening the Draconi Empire? Your entire species will be enslaved for this insolence. Attack formation, all ships. Show them why the galaxy fears Draconi might." The Draconi fleet opened fire with concentrated bombardment that had never failed to destroy any target. Plasma cannons and fusion torpedoes struck the Indomitable with the combined firepower of 60 heavy warships. The energy discharge was visible from the outer planets of the system. When the weapons fire stopped, the Indomitable was still there. Its shields had absorbed the entire attack without failing. The human ship showed no damage at all. The Draconi fleet stared in shock at something that violated everything they understood about military technology. "Impossible," Corvin whispered. "No ship can withstand that much firepower." Roberts activated the trap that had been prepared for this moment. "All stations, this is Fleet Command. Execute flanking pattern Delta." The asteroid field that the Draconi had dismissed as a navigation hazard suddenly came alive with weapons fire. Hidden military installations throughout the system opened fire simultaneously. The rocks that had seemed harmless were actually disguised weapons, platforms that had been positioned years in advance. The civilian transport ships that had been evacuating colonists revealed their true nature as heavily armed warships. The mining vessels that had been working the asteroid belt showed their hidden weapon systems. The entire system was a carefully prepared killing ground. But the real surprise came when the Draconi attempted to withdraw from the trap. Their retreat route was blocked by a human fleet that had been waiting in the system's outer rim. 50 human warships had been moving into position for weeks, traveling through hyperspace routes that only human navigators knew existed. Captain Tom Bradley commanded the heavy cruiser Relentless, one of the ships blocking the Draconi escape route. His vessel had been disguised as a scientific research ship for the past 10 years. Its true nature as a military destroyer was now revealed to the galaxy. Draconi Fleet, this is Captain Tom Bradley of the Human Defense Corps, he transmitted. You are completely surrounded. You have one opportunity to surrender unconditionally. We will not offer a second chance. The Draconi War Marshal's response came through clenched teeth. The Draconi Empire does not surrender to inferior species. We will die with honor rather than submit to human authority. Then you will die as fools, Bradley replied. All ships, you are authorized to fire at will. The battle that followed was unlike anything in recorded galactic history. The Draconi fleet fought with desperate courage, but they were completely outmatched. Human weapons cut through their armor like paper. Human tactics anticipated their every move. Human technology exceeded their capabilities in every category. The Draconi ships were destroyed one by one with surgical precision. Their attempts to break out of the trap were blocked by human vessels that seemed to appear from nowhere. Their distress calls were jammed by human communication systems. Their final transmissions were recorded by human intelligence services. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it ended, the entire Draconi battle fleet had been destroyed except for 3 ships that Roberts had deliberately allowed to escape. Those survivors would carry the news of human military superiority back to the Draconi homeworld. The destruction of the Draconi fleet sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. The empire that had dominated galactic politics for a millennium had been defeated by a species that most aliens considered barely civilized. The balance of power had shifted completely. The ethereal collective immediately attempted to negotiate a ceasefire. Their representatives offered to mediate between humans and Draconi. They suggested that the conflict could be resolved through diplomatic means. They promised that the collective would guarantee any peace agreement. Admiral Stone's response was transmitted to every government in the galaxy. The Human Defense Corps does not negotiate with aggressors. The Draconi Empire chose to attack human civilians. They will face the consequences of that choice until they are no longer capable of threatening innocent lives. The second Draconi battle fleet was destroyed 3 days later at the Proxima system. The third fleet was eliminated at Volf 359 before it could even engage human forces. The mighty Draconi Empire found itself facing total military defeat at the hands of a species they had dismissed as harmless. Emperor Draxus sent increasingly desperate messages to other galactic powers. He offered trade concessions to the hegemony in exchange for military support. He promised the Vorthan Confederacy exclusive mining rights if they would join the war against humanity. He even contacted the ethereal collective about purchasing advanced weapons. None of the major powers were willing to risk human retaliation. The species that had seemed so peaceful and cooperative had revealed themselves as the most dangerous military force in known space. Every government began reviewing their own interactions with humans, looking for signs of hidden preparations. The transformation of human space was now complete. Every colony had become a fortress world. Every merchant ship had revealed its true nature as a warship. Every human civilian had shown their training as a soldier. The quiet species had grown in the shadows, and now they dominated the battlefield. The galaxy was beginning to understand that humanity's greatest weapon had never been their technology or their numbers. Their greatest weapon was patience. They had spent 3 centuries learning about their enemies while hiding their own capabilities. They had built their strength in secret while maintaining the appearance of weakness. Now the real war was beginning, and humanity held every advantage. 6 months after the destruction of the Draconi battle fleets, the galaxy had been forced to accept a new reality. The quiet humans who had spent centuries in the background had emerged as the dominant power in known space. Every major government had tested humanity's military capabilities, and everyone had suffered devastating defeats. The ethereal collective had attempted to use their psychic abilities to control human military commanders during a border dispute. They discovered that humans had developed mental shielding technology that made their minds completely immune to alien influence. The collective's most powerful psychics could not even detect human thoughts, much less control them. The Vorthan Confederacy had launched a second invasion of human territory with their remaining fleets. They were confident that superior numbers would overcome human technology. Instead, they found themselves facing human ships that seemed to appear from empty space. The battle was over in less than an hour, and the Vorthan military ceased to exist as an effective force. Even the ancient hegemony had been forced to negotiate after human forces liberated 3 slave worlds in a single coordinated strike. The operation had been planned and executed with precision that exceeded anything in galactic military history. The hegemony's reputation for invincibility had been shattered overnight. Admiral Stone stood before the Galactic Council as the representative of the galaxy's new military superpower. The assembled alien delegations listened in tense silence. As he outlined humanity's terms for the new galactic order, the balance of power had shifted completely and everyone knew it. For 3 centuries, humanity has observed as stronger species impose their will on weaker ones. Stone began. We have witnessed entire civilizations enslaved, planets stripped of resources, and peace maintained only through fear and intimidation. This age of casual aggression ends today. The Draconi War Marshal, one of the few survivors of the failed invasion, spoke up with barely controlled anger. You cannot police the entire galaxy. No single species has ever possessed such power. The other races will unite against you eventually. Stone smiled grimly at the threat. We do not need to police the galaxy. We simply need to ensure that aggression against innocent populations has immediate and severe consequences. Any species that attacks another without justification will face humanity's full military response. You are describing galactic domination through military force, the ethereal collective's representative accused. How are you different from the empires you claim to oppose? We are different because we have no desire to rule over other species. Stone replied. We want to ensure that no species rules over others through violence and intimidation alone. The age of conquest through military might is ending. Ambassador Turner stepped forward to address the assembled council. His diplomatic skills had been instrumental in maintaining human deception for decades. Now he would help establish the new galactic order that humanity's military strength had made possible. The Human Defense Corps has no territorial ambitions. Beyond our current borders, Turner announced, we do not seek to expand our influence through conquest or economic domination. We simply want to create a galaxy where smaller species can develop without fear of being enslaved or exterminated. The implications were staggering. Humans were offering to use their military superiority to protect weaker species rather than exploit them. This was unprecedented in galactic history. Every previous dominant power had used their strength to build empires and extract tribute from subject worlds. The council session continued for hours as alien representatives tried to understand the new reality. The species that had seemed so peaceful and cooperative were now the arbiters of galactic affairs. Their hidden military preparations had paid off beyond their wildest expectations on human worlds throughout the galaxy. The transformation was complete. The colonies that had appeared to be simple agricultural settlements were now revealed as forward military bases. The industrial facilities that had seemed to produce only civilian goods were now manufacturing advanced weapons for the human defense. CORP's Dr. Sarah Mitchell coordinated the revelation of human scientific capabilities from her office in Geneva. The research programs that had seemed so beneficial to alien partners were actually massive intelligence operations. Every joint project had given humans detailed information about alien weaknesses and vulnerabilities. All human facilities are now operating under full military authority. She transmitted to research stations throughout human space. Begin Phase 3 of the Revelation Protocol. Show them what we have really been building. The alien scientists, who had been working with human researchers for decades, were shocked to discover the true scope of human technological development. The laboratories they thought they knew were actually advanced military research centers. The equipment they had helped design was being used for weapons development that exceeded their own capabilities. Captain Roy Ward supervised the final transformation of the merchant fleet from his command center on the Determination. The ships that had carried human goods throughout the galaxy for centuries were now revealed as a military force capable of projecting power anywhere in known space. All vessels are now authorized for full military operations, he announced. Execute the final phase of the revelation. Let the galaxy see what we have become. Throughout human space, merchant ships activated their hidden weapon systems. Transport vessels revealed their true nature as troop carriers. Mining ships showed their real purpose as patrol craft. The entire human civilian fleet was actually a military force that had been disguised for centuries. The Galactic Council was forced to confront the reality that humans had been preparing for this moment. Since their first contact with alien civilizations, every diplomatic interaction had been part of a long-term strategy. Every trade agreement had included provisions that helped human military preparations. Every scientific exchange had been designed to gather intelligence about potential enemies. The quiet species had grown in the shadows while the galaxy's attention was focused elsewhere. They had learned everything they needed to know about their neighbors while revealing almost nothing about themselves. They had built their strength in secret while maintaining the appearance of peaceful weakness. Now they owned the battlefield. And through it, they would reshape the galaxy according to their vision of justice and peace. The stars themselves seemed to burn brighter as the galaxy adjusted to its new reality. The age of domination through military conquest was ending. The age of protection through superior strength was beginning. Humanity had grown quietly in the darkness, and now they would bring light to a galaxy that had known only the law of the strong. The transformation was complete. The galaxy had a new guardian, and that guardian was humanity. The species that had seemed so weak and insignificant had revealed themselves as the most powerful force in known space. They had won the ultimate victory through patience, preparation, and the wisdom to strike only when success was certain. The quiet growth was over. The real work was just beginning. Humanity would use their strength to build a galaxy where species could develop without fear of conquest or enslavement. They would create a new order based on protection rather than domination. The galaxy would never be the same.